Hi, this is Sam Lacy at Travel South USA. I am here with Moke McGowan, and Moke has been in the tourism industry for a very long time. He came from the West Coast and got a call to be the director of South Carolina tourism. And Moke was director of South Carolina tourism from 1997 to 2003 and served as the chairman of Travel South USA's board in 2002. So he's been in the industry, he knows everything, all the current trends and whatnot, and can offer us a very neat perspective on the history of Travel South. This is our 50th anniversary. We were founded in 1965, and this is our 33rd domestic showcase. So Moke, did you ever imagine you came to a couple shows in the early 2000s, did you ever imagine seeing what this could become? We have almost 600 delegates here.
Not really. I think we had a vision that there was a lot that we could build on a continuum, and we had probably TIA's International Powwow, that major international trade show, as kind of that vision out there. But as a domestic show, no. And it has not only grown, it has become so sophisticated over the years in a lot of different arenas. So it's exciting to see what it's become.
Now, with our 50th anniversary, what we've kind of been looking at is we've gotten some content from our 12 states about what's changed over the last 50 years. From 1965, the invention of the welcome centers. Welcome centers are all over the place now. Increases in visibility for all these states and state tourism departments with social media and the internet and everything. Can you speak a little bit about the trends, the kind of the changes over maybe the last 20 years since you've been in the South, in tourism in the South?
Well, and quite honestly, up until probably about 1990, you stayed with the same disciplines throughout. You had your advertising, public relations, you had your brochures and media, other printed media, direct mail, and things of that nature. That was about it.
Yeah.
Then in 1990, really the development of the internet, which really in about 3 years started its explosion. So when I started in South Carolina in 97, we were really at that point just on the bubble of what has become an incredible evolution in marketing and marketing sciences. What we have today is the cognizance. We're always trying to influence consumers, leisure travel consumers, with various marketing disciplines. What we have to be really cognizant of today is that consumer is very much part of the media mix on a continuum. And what you didn't say is I just recently retired after a 40-plus year career, and I think it's a good time to retire.
Things as far as social media and whatnot, we spoke a little bit earlier about native advertising, and you just touched on it a bit. Consumer-generated content is so big these days as a vehicle for getting out of states marketing, getting out their word and their marketing focus. So, I mean, how do you feel about all of this? You've got to be very wary of user-generated content, but you can also use it in so many great ways to market.
Oh, absolutely, and there's a lot of marketing being done on your behalf by the consumer. Traditional media such as the Weather Channel, Golf Channel, some of these other channels are begging for that user-generated content. Show us your sunset.
Exactly.
How beautiful the sunrise is and the first day of spring and this, that, and the other thing. But you also have to be very wary of and leery of the impacts that negative aspects can hit.
Absolutely.
Can be weather-related, natural disasters and things of that nature. Can certainly also be man-generated. And on the one hand, it's nothing that we haven't always had to deal with to some extent. It's the immediacy
Exactly.
that is always a consternation.
24/7.
Absolutely.
24/7 these days. So absolutely, you have to be very wary, and constant vigilance is the name of the game in regards to social media. So
There's one thing, though, that has remained pretty steady throughout the years, and that is that memories are very, very short. And so the importance of destinations, whether it's the state level, the regional level, the local level, of constantly being in front of that consumer with their messages and crafted visuals and things of that nature, can still win the day. So.
Absolutely. Perhaps one more question. We spoke a little bit about what we see in the future, where, and you said you're happy you're getting out of the game here, but what kind of stuff do you see in the future, the next 50 years for tourism?
There's so many things that are somewhat on the horizon. The use of drones as a marketing medium itself, but really, who knows? I mean, who would have thought back in 1990 that this is where we would be?
Exactly.
Who would have thought that, 10 years ago, social media was just being talked about at best? The explosion of that. The importance, I think, is not to try to look ahead and see what's going to be happening. Overall, it's being ready to adapt as quickly as possible and be with it. There's been a number of things that, whether it's 3D or whatnot, may or may not take hold. But being ready and having the ability to adapt to that as a potential medium, it all comes down to how best can we influence that travel decision.
Absolutely.
And it starts with the product and the people, and it goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Adaptability, flexibility, that's kind of the name of the game in tourism these days. This has been Sam Lacy with Travel South, here with Moke McGowan, and we'll see you later. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam.